Hi. I want to take a few minutes to talk to you about leadership and structure of religious organization, of biblical church governing. But before we can even begin that conversation, we really need to know where it is that we're going. What are we here for? What's the purpose of getting together? And I think a lot of congregations in their development, in establishing who they are, they forget that vital step of learning what they're trying to accomplish by being. Of course, you start with the Great Commission of the Messiah, to go out and teach all nations, all things whatsoever He has commanded us, teaching them to observe all those things. We got that, but then what did He teach? Well, He taught everything that was in the Old Testament and how all those things came to Him. He taught obedience to those things, obedience, shining your light as righteousness in the world around you. In Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13, he says, this is the conclusion of the whole matter. He says, fear God and keep His commandments. This is the whole duty of man. This is what we're here for. In Micah, I think it's 6:8, he says, He's shown you, O man, what is good, and what it is that the Lord requires of you, but to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. Understanding who we are and what we're to be doing is the vital step that's often missed for understanding where we're to be going. If we're traveling down a road, we need to understand what that destination is that we're trying to reach. And according to the scriptures, our destination is to become Christ-like, to become images and lights of the Messiah shining for the world. Peter says, pure religion and undefiled is this. He said to visit the widows and the orphans and to keep yourself unspotted from the world. Now in Greek, or in English, widows and orphans is pretty easy to describe. Widows are ladies that don't have husbands, and orphans are kids that don't have parents. In Greek, it's a little broader a definition. It's the people who are trodden down and need to be lifted up, the people who are without direction and need it, people who need assistance, those who need guidance. And so that's the purpose of the congregation, to provide direction, guidance, support, and encouragement to the community so they can see what the life of righteousness that God's designed for us is to be. In Hebrew, the idea is called tikkun ulam, or to making the world a better place. That's the purpose of the church. It's not simply to talk about the Messiah and get people to join our congregation. Probably the biggest concern of leadership, the biggest concern about leadership is that we decide that we're the thing that people are to be coming to. But true leadership is understanding that we're just a spot in the road. We want people, true biblical leadership needs to have people looking through them to the destination that you're headed. Of course, keeping ourselves unspotted from the world. It's funny because much of what we describe as church has completely lost its direction and wants to appeal to the world and make itself more comfortable for the world to join in. We want to set what James tells us is to set ourselves apart from the world and do things differently. Very much about the leadership structure of a congregation we find is that the structure of a congregation is designed after the pattern of traditional organizations of the 21st century. It follows a model of corporate guidelines and standards. Messiah said to do exactly the opposite. He said that you know how the Gentiles rule over their people. He says you're not to do it that way. The contrary way is the Jewish method, where the community as a body defines how it ministers, and not a small presbytery or a leadership group that tells everybody else what to do.